Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. The #1 god and demon in the heavens, creating a divine era. Traveling through an era of eerie invasion, Zhou Heng gained the power of the chaos god and demon. Looking at this chaotic world, he decided to help it, resist the eerie invasion, and create gods. Death Potion Sequence 0 True God of Death Recipe. 1/5 of the God of Death's aura, 10 drops of blood from planet-decaying beasts, 10 drops of blood from pale dragons, 1 piece of scales from the underworld snake, 30 grams of bone powder from the nightmare lord, 10 grams of true earth from the land of death, 1 flower from the other side, and 300 milliliters of water from the underworld. Promotion Ceremony. When the true god falls, swallow the magic potion. He has created one deity after another. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Divine and Demon Panel Loading Progress 0.0001%. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Eternal City. Midnight. Outside the suburbs. A figure wearing a black hoodie swayed in this almost deserted suburb, appearing somewhat eerie. Wow, wow. Suddenly, a dog barked and a little husky barked at the feet of the hooded figure. Dog Egg, if you're lucky today, I can help you prepare space potions. Are you happy or not? The figure in the hoodie crouched down and reached out to touch the little husky. From now on, one can tell from the mouth that the name of this husky was actually taken as Dog Egg. And this person's name is Zhou Heng. Actually, he is not a person from this eerie world. As a standard traveler, upon entering this eerie world, one naturally carries the golden finger issued by the traveler. Unfortunately, it has been 3 months since we traveled here, and the God and Magic panel seems to be stuck, always maintaining a progress of 0.0001%. Zhou Heng let out a sigh in his mouth. What he said about the God and Magic panel is actually the system he has traveled through. Host. Zhou Heng, God and Magic panel, loading progress. 0.0001%, just like this data panel, as long as it is loaded to 100%, it can obtain all the strength and knowledge of gods and demons. Unfortunately, it was just like this when he traveled, and it has been over 3 months since he traveled so far. The loading progress of this panel has been consistently maintained at 0.0001%. He himself looked anxious. I have also tried to kill the eerie world to see if it can increase the loading progress, or rather, by taking his 0.0001% knowledge and power of gods and demons, and configuring a magic potion to swallow. The result is that various methods have no effect on the loading progress of the God and Magic panel. So he gave up. And at this point, Kaka Kaka. The void not far from him suddenly cracked like a mirror, making a sound like glass shattering, appearing very eerie. But Zhou Heng watched the scene expressionlessly, and beside him, Gooden also barked a few times towards that place. It is obvious. This person and dog had no fear of such a strange thing, and even watched with great interest as the strange scene slowly occurred. I hope it's the eerie thing I want. Zhou Heng stared at the gradually expanding spatial crack and thought to himself secretly. Strange. It can be said that it is not an exaggeration to be a unique feature of this world. The reason why he called this world a strange world is also because of the reason why he spoke of it as strange. Strange. The monster emerged from the cracks in space that suddenly appeared 300 years ago. Monsters are not humans. They have a variety of strange appearances and magical abilities. Their appearance, in a short period of time, directly caused a heavy blow to the entire world. It's not that monsters are difficult to expel, it's just because the location of this spatial crack has always been uncertain. In addition, among the monsters, even the lowest level monsters possess powers and abilities that ordinary people do not possess, let alone some more powerful monsters. Even their appearance can make a city, or even a small country, directly fall into the realm of monsters. That's why the world has also suffered a heavy blow due to the emergence of monsters, and countries have taken various measures to prevent the emergence of monsters. So, the supernatural realm was born. An organization specifically designed to handle the appearance of monsters. And as time goes on, over 300 years, the supernatural realm is also getting bigger and bigger, and countries have also controlled the monster within a certain range, and the monster is also named eerie. As for the strange phenomenon that appeared here in Zhou Heng, it is known as a strange omen. Whenever such eerie signs occur, it indicates that strangeness is about to appear in the world. In general, if ordinary people find such a thing happening, they should leave immediately and call the Supernatural Bureau to handle it. This is the best approach. Like Zhou Heng, who watched the eerie signs appear and didn't stay away, nor did he call the Supernatural Bureau. When ordinary people saw him, they probably thought he had a brain problem. However, Zhou Heng has seen this situation countless times before. The expansion of the spatial crack to the extent that it can appear eerie is really slow. Zhou Heng watched with some boredom as the spatial crack slowly expanded bit by bit. From the appearance of eerie signs to the size of the space crack that the lowest level of eerie is capable of descending, it takes at least 3 minutes. He is not afraid at all of the level of strangeness behind it. What he cares about is whether the strangeness behind this spatial crack is the one he wants. Fear or something doesn't exist at all. With the God and Magic panel, he may have only loaded 0.0001% of the progress, but he has already gained power and a lot of knowledge that ordinary people do not possess. Otherwise, why did he appear in this place in the middle of the night, and after waiting for a long time, coincidentally, just a few meters away from him, that a strange sign appeared? This, of course, cannot be called luck. Even if he only possesses 0.0001% divine and magical power and knowledge, he can easily detect where spatial cracks will appear. Of course, there are also some limitations. He can only detect the spatial cracks that can be opened within 3 days. At this point, it seems that time has come. The minimum eerie appearance of spatial cracks that can be accommodated has reached the standard. Pop. A skull-like hand resembling white jade suddenly extended from the crack in space, grabbing the edge of the crack, and the crack that seemed to have reached the lowest level of eerie appearance also stopped expanding. This is also a normal phenomenon. The expansion of spatial cracks has an upper limit. As the space crack reaches its upper limit, eerie will appear from the space crack. After it appears, the space crack that reaches the upper limit will gradually recover. The recovery process time is uncertain, but it can accommodate F.level eerie space cracks, which usually recover within 15.30 minutes. The next moment, a strange creature emerged from a spatial crack. It is like a skull, and at a glance, it can be seen that it looks like a human skull, with a height of over 2.3 meters. It looks very tall. And the skeleton was like white jade, but it also had a flaw, which was that all the white bones on the opponent's body carried a hint of black thread. It seems that this should have been a perfect artwork, stained with indelible stains. In addition, it also holds a bone knife from Mori by Bones, which was made from the bones of some unknown creature. There were no eyeballs in its eye sockets, only 2 black flames slowly burning. As the skull turned its head, the bones on its body also emitted a series of crisp sounds. The skull's eye sockets looked straight at Zhou Heng. Ordinary people may feel shivering after watching it. However, Void Bone, this trip didn't go in vain. I've been working hard for a month to find your main material, and finally I found it. Under his hood, Zhou Heng had no fear on his face. Instead, he looked straight at the white bone and shouted out the other person's address, with a smile on his face, very pleased. When put on the shelves, 10,000 flowers have a burst of 10,000 words, 20,000 flowers have a burst of 20,000 words, 30,000 flowers have a burst of 30,000 words, 40,000 flowers have a burst of 40,000 words, 50,000 flowers have a burst of 50,000 words, and the burst limit is 50,000 words. Pretty readers, if you want to see more explosive words when you put them on the shelves, just throw in flowers. If there are also review tickets and monthly tickets, please don't keep them. Send them to the author. After all, keeping them is not very useful, but it is very important to the author. Original content is about success, and without results, there is no motivation. Please ask everyone to cast flowers, review tickets, monthly tickets, and so on to the author. Update plan. Ensure daily updates of 10,000 words, and as for the exact amount, it depends on the author's code. Chapter 2. Flash Sale. The arrival of the 7th team of the Supernatural Bureau. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 3. Prepare magic potions. Space potion. 3 updates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Slightly rough. Su Xiaoxiao mischievously stuck out her tongue and then looked at the pile of bones. She reached out to greet the person next to her and said, "Can you come and help me put this thing back together?" "Miss Su, are you joking? This thing has all come apart, and if you want to fight, you have to bring this thing back to the bureau first," someone said with a bitter smile. "Can you help or not? If you don't help me, I'll have to call my sister in law and tell her that last time." Su Xiaoxiao threatened several people. "I'm afraid you, Miss Su. We can help, we can't help yet. Isn't it just about putting them together? When I was in elementary school, I was a skilled puzzle maker. I'll show you how to put them together every minute." Several people quickly admitted defeat and took action one after another. On the ground, rectangular transparent plastic bags were laid out, which were large but not opened. Instead, they were laid flat on the ground. 10 minutes. With the cooperation of several people, this scattered void bone was quickly pieced together, allowing people to see it clearly. Sure enough, this void bone is missing its most important vital bone, and it was obviously taken away by the person who killed the void bone, Su Xiaoxiao said after carefully examining it. "Is this the case again? Did Hood do it?" After hearing this, He Xiangxue, the captain of the 7th team of the Spiritual Bureau, asked. 8 out of 10. Su Xiaoxiao nodded and then pointed to the cervical vertebrae of the void white bone, saying, "Its spine was directly pierced by a single blow, which is a fatal injury. Moreover, I have seen that there is only one wound on its entire body, from top to bottom, which means it was instantly killed by a single blow. There are also traces left here. The only evidence of the damage caused by this void bone is the marks of the ground being penetrated by its bone knife. This also indicates that after the void bone came out, it attacked the person here, and then the person counterattacked, and the battle ended. I estimate that the entire battle lasted less than 30 seconds. Although she may not have seen it with her own eyes, Su Xiaoxiao is still very confident in her analysis. After all, it is based on her current traces of reasoning. Less than 30 seconds. It should be the Hood. Every time he makes a move, it's a one-hit kill, so the time it takes is extremely short. Moreover, after killing the eerie, he always takes away the most precious thing from the eerie. He Xiangxue also nodded and said. Team He, what am I saying about the Hood? If you have nothing to do, come and compete with our Supernatural Bureau for work. You're not mistaken, someone said. If I knew, I would still need to talk nonsense here. He Xiangxue said angrily. As the team captain, may she not be angry when faced with such a situation. This is not the first time that the 7th team has encountered such a situation. The frequency has already exceeded 2 digits. Not only the 7th team, but other teams have also encountered such situations, but in the end, no one could say anything because they couldn't find the other party's identity and information, so they had no choice but to deal with the aftermath. Can this hood be specially cultivated by a guild? Someone in the 7th team guessed. Fuck you, the other party's actions have a clear purpose, and they only take away the most precious things from the eerie body each time. Do you think if those guys in the guild take action, they will leave these things for us to clean up? One person responded directly with a blank eye. This bone knife is good. It's an F.level alien soldier, but unfortunately I'm using a gun. One person picked up the weapon of void and white bones, waved it, and said regretfully. Alright, hurry up and tidy up. The spatial cracks have also recovered, we should go back now. He Xiangxue said. In a nearby location, the already significant spatial crack quickly recovered to its original state in just 10 minutes. Received. The members of the 7th team also quickly packed up, and in just a few minutes, they packed all the corpses of the void and bones, leaving no weapons behind. By the way, they also restored the traces of the battle here to their original state. Make a move in the supernatural game. It's just so efficient. Eternal City. Zhou Heng didn't know that not long after he left, the people from the Supernatural Bureau arrived and cleaned up the traces he left on the ground. If he knew, he would only appreciate the other party's good work. And he also used his spatial ability to move within the Eternal City, carrying a dog egg. In just 3 minutes, he returned home. A suite of over 100 square meters. A standard 3-bedroom and 1 living room, nothing special. Originally, this family of 3 lived together, but upon crossing over, Zhou Heng discovered that this body had become an orphan. 4 months ago, the parents of this body encountered a strange omen. If only the F.level appeared in this spatial crack, then the parents of this body would naturally be fine. What can be encountered is a space crack with an upper limit that is enough to make C.level eerie in this world. So the parents of this body were very unlucky when they were fleeing and were constantly targeted by E.level eerie, and were killed. Afterwards, news came that the original owner of this body couldn't bear the stimulation and had some mental disorders. The original owner resigned from work and stayed at home all day. Finally, he took sleeping pills and committed suicide directly. Later on, Zhou Heng has just crossed over. And Dog Egg, on the other hand, was the abandoned little dog he encountered on the street after crossing over. It looked pitiful, so he brought Dog Egg home. At least let Zhou Heng feel a hint of warmth in this unfamiliar world. This also gave him the idea of equipping Dog Eggs with magic potions, which led to the 3 months of strange hunting action. Woo woof woof. After returning home, Dog Egg also excitedly barked, looking at the lively energy. Perhaps it already had a 200,000 yuan renovation plan in its heart. Of course, in front of Zhou Heng, the other party's plan could never be implemented. Stay obedient, I'm going to prepare magic potions for you next. After lightly patting the dog's head, Zhou Heng also began to take action. What has he been doing for so long? Isn't it just to find the ingredients for the potion for the dog egg? What he has always lacked is the life bone of the void and white bones. Today, he was really lucky to have encountered it, and now he has completely gathered all the magic potion materials needed for dog egg. This will allow him to prepare potions for the dog egg. Wow, wow. Dog Egg excitedly barked. It may not understand at all, but looking at Zhou Heng's happy expression, it also cooperated and shouted. First, take out the materials. Zhou Heng waved his hand and everything flew out of the spatial ring he was wearing on his index finger, landing one after another on the table. On the table. Quickly, materials were placed one by one. The space magic potion can now be configured. Zhou Heng looked at the magical potion material on the table and also smiled. He muttered to himself, as if he was talking to Dog Egg, but it seemed like he was talking to himself. When put on the shelves, 10,000 flowers have a burst of 10,000 words, 20,000 flowers have a burst of 20,000 words, 30,000 flowers have a burst of 30,000 words, 40,000 flowers have a burst of 40,000 words, 50,000 flowers have a burst of 50,000 words, and the burst limit is 50,000 words. Pretty readers, if you want to see more explosive words when you put them on the shelves, just throw in flowers. If there are also review tickets and monthly tickets, please don't keep them. Send them to the author. After all, keeping them is not very useful, but it is very important to the author. Original content is about success, and without results, there is no motivation. Please ask everyone to cast flowers, review tickets, monthly tickets, and so on to the author. Update plan. Ensure daily updates of 10,000 words, and as for the exact amount, it depends on the author's code. Chapter 4. Wang. My life is at rest. Space Magic Potion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 5. Dog Egg. From today on, Ben Wang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. And just as the dog's egg spits out human words, Zhou Heng felt a sudden change in his body, and his face also showed a surprised expression. This familiar feeling, he can confidently say, is the same when the God and Magic panel was loaded with 0.0001% after the last time traveling to this eerie world. He quickly looked towards his own Divine and Magical panel. Host. Zhou Heng, God and Magic panel, loading progress. 0.0002%, change. The loading progress of the God and Magic panel has jumped from 0.0001% to 0.0002%, an increase of 0.0001%. But what exactly is going on? What has improved the loading progress? This not only made Zhou Heng ponder for 2 seconds, but then he quickly looked at Dog Egg, his eyes fixed on him. Wang. Master, don't look at me like this. I'm afraid. Being stared at by Zhou Heng with such fiery eyes, the joy of Dog Egg being able to speak human words was instantly diluted. His head shrank and his 2 front feet rested on it. Do you think I would be interested in a dog? Zhou Heng's face also turned black, he said. Wang. That's not necessarily true. I'm so handsome. If you're so animalistic towards me, my master, then I can sacrifice myself. Dog Egg let out a cry and said. Good guy, this dog's words really made Zhou Heng laugh in anger. You better stay on my side. He casually threw the dog egg onto the nearby sofa. The dog didn't know where he learned it, but just now he was able to speak out and it was so frustrating. If it weren't for the dog he had raised for 3 months, he would have had to directly turn the dog eggs into dog meat hot pot. However, the loading progress of the God and Magic panel made him realize something. That is to say, the loading progress of the God and Magic panel is not really impossible to improve. Originally, he was racking his brains to improve the loading progress of the God and Magic panel, but today it was a coincidence that the loading progress was improved. But he has already caught the key. Magic potion. It's the space potion he fed to the dog egg. After this dog successfully digested the magic potion, the loading progress of his Divine and Magical panel improved. So, the loading progress of his Divine and Magical panel is definitely related to the magic potion. Last time, he took the potion himself, but it had no effect at all, which means that it is useless for him to swallow the potion himself. If you want to improve the loading progress of the God and Magic panel, you need to make all other creatures swallow the magic potion. Is this to make me spread the potion throughout the eerie world? Zhou Heng pondered deeply. A space potion in sequence 9 increased the progress of his Divine and Magical panel by 0.0001%. Does that mean that with just 1 million potions, he can increase the loading progress of his divine and magical panel to 100%? Of course, this is 100%, and it's probably a question mark. Zhou Heng thinks it won't be that simple. If it's really that simple, as long as there are enough materials and given him a few months, he can directly load all the progress and become a god and demon. He doesn't quite believe it anyway. Because this gives people a feeling that while playing games, when others say and do this, and then pass the level, and they hear it, they only feel that there is such a simple feeling, but in practice, it is completely different things. So, he doesn't believe that such a simple task can improve the progress of the God and Magic panel. However, it's useless for him to think too much about this matter. As the saying goes, practice is the only criterion for testing truth. The specific situation will only be known after he personally practices it. But compared to the previous situation where there was no way to go, it is much better now. At least he has found a way to improve the loading progress of the God and Magic panel. Wang. Master, look, Wang jumped straight onto the table with just one jump, and he jumped so far. The dog egg that was thrown onto the sofa by Zhou Heng on the side was obviously not idle either. After passing the initial digestion of the magic potion, the pain also completely disappeared. It also bounced around with a lively and energetic look, jumping left and right. This is a normal phenomenon. Space potions not only allow you to speak freely, but their initial digestion may have caused you pain, but it has also greatly enhanced your physical strength in a very short period of time, in terms of strength, speed, physique, and spirit. Congratulations, dog egg. Now you are the space apprentice of Sequence 9. Zhou Heng spoke up and explained. The initial digestion of the so-called magic potion is actually pulling the body to the lowest physical fitness standard in Sequence 9 within a period of time. It can be said that a person who fails a score below 60 points is directly pulled to the lowest passing line of 60 points. Of course, this only has such a digestive effect on those who fail. However, almost every ordinary person will experience this kind of thing. After all, for a sequencer, even if it is only the lowest physical fitness standard of Sequence 9, it is several times higher than that of a normal person. Wang. Master, don't call me Wang Go Egg. I want to change my name and call it Wang Go Ao Tian in the future. It's still a domineering name. Dog Egg let out a cry and said. Zhou Heng felt very speechless about these words. Although he knows that the effect of magic potions is not only to improve physical fitness and acquire corresponding abilities, but also to enable untapped life to be enlightened. However, he never expected that the originally somewhat intelligent dog egg would turn out to be like this after opening up his mind. Do you still need to change your name? Still proud of the dog? Why don't you just change your name to Jackie Chan and Outyan? Zhou Heng has complained a lot in his heart, but after thinking about it, he doesn't want to argue with this dog. At least, it's better than dog eggs. And the name dog egg was just a random name chosen when we first met each other. Dog egg, okay, Outyan, after drinking the magic potion, you don't have any other feelings? Zhou Heng asked. This potion is not primarily for improving physical fitness. What is the main manifestation of space magic potion? Of course, it's the word space. Wang. Wang feels like it's a bit different. I feel like I can, this. Dog egg, no, dog Outyan scratched his head with its paws, then closed his dog eyes, as if using his abilities. The next moment, its body instantly disappeared from its original position. Like. Go Outyan suddenly appeared in front of Zhou Heng, finishing the abruptly stopped words just now. Similarly, it, which had lost its fulcrum, also fell into mid-air. But fortunately, Zhou Heng reached out and grabbed the dog. Space ability, space jumping, it seems that the effect of space magic potion is still very good. Zhou Heng looked at the dog with satisfaction. Without his explanation, he vaguely displayed his space ability in such a short time of swallowing the space magic potion. Obviously, this dog's talent was quite good. Perhaps it's because this dog has been staying with this handsome guy for a long time, and he has become much smarter. When put on the shelves, 10,000 flowers have a burst of 10,000 words, 20,000 flowers have a burst of 20,000 words, 30,000 flowers have a burst of 30,000 words, 40,000 flowers have a burst of 40,000 words, 50,000 flowers have a burst of 50,000 words, and the burst limit is 50,000 words. Pretty readers, if you want to see more explosive words when you put them on the shelves, just throw in flowers. If there are also review tickets and monthly tickets, please don't keep them. Send them to the author. After all, keeping them is not very useful, but it is very important to the author. Original content is about success, and without results, there is no motivation. Please ask everyone to cast flowers, review tickets, monthly tickets, and so on to the author. Update plan. Ensure daily updates of 10,000 words, and as for the exact amount, it depends on the author's code. Chapter 6. Time ability. Time backtracking. 6 updates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 7. Classification of strange creatures. And genes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 8. The first Netizen after time travel. 2 updates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sister Xiang Shui, you don't know that I'm going alone. Isn't that a bit scary? With you, Sister Xiang Shui, I'll be much safer, Su Xiaoxiao said softly. As soon as these words were spoken, the other members of the 7th team fiercely slapped themselves on the corner of the mouth. Afraid? Go ahead and deceive the ghost. Besides your background, you are also an F.class gene warrior who has been injected with F.class gene drugs. F.level gene warriors have 3 times the physical fitness of ordinary people. Does that ordinary person dare to make Miss Su afraid? I'm afraid if you didn't kick it, the onlookers around would have to make emergency calls. I still have to work. He Xiangshui refused directly under the pretext of working in the same class. This little girl taking her over must not be a good thing. She knows what kind of calculations she's up to. Sister Xiang Shui, since that's the case, I have to tell Auntie that you want to rent a boyfriend to deal with her during next year's Chinese New Year, Su Xiaoxiao threatened. Once this statement is made, the others around looked at the information at their desk with a serious expression, but in fact, they all perked up their ears in preparation for eavesdropping. The captain is actually planning to rent a boyfriend to deal with his parents. Is it so exciting? Oh, no. It should be said that Captain he is so good looking, and he still doesn't have a boyfriend. Is it because they still have a chance? Suddenly, their hearts also thumped and quickened their pace of beating. Those who didn't have a girlfriend present silently made a decision in their hearts. Tonight, they must tidy up their image well and leave a good impression of being handsome on He team tomorrow. I can't say for sure. Next year, He team's boyfriend will be them. At this moment, many people in the 7th team are having beautiful dreams. However, when He Xiangshui heard Su Xiaoxiao directly express her plan to deal with her parents, she immediately blushed. Damn girl. You're saying it like this, isn't it telling others that no one is chasing after me? For a moment, He Xiangshui felt extremely ashamed. I promise you, I can't promise you yet. He Xiangshui quickly agreed to Su Xiaoxiao's request. Now shame is over, but we must never let our parents know about her coping plan. Otherwise, during the Chinese New Year, she will probably be urged to get married again after returning home. That's settled then. Su Xiaoxiao also smiled playfully, then took out her phone and started chatting with a netizen named, I am your father. On the other side, After sleeping all night, Zhou Heng said that he was completely refreshed. Although he was like this before he went to bed, sleeping still made him feel very comfortable. Stepping out of the room and looking at the living room, it's great. This dog didn't continue to die yesterday, so let it go today and don't eat dog meat hot pot. And at this moment, his phone rang. He picked up his phone and saw that after traveling to this world, in order to understand it, he randomly added a netizen named Sister, 1.8 meters long legs, to the account of the original owner. At first, I was preparing to delete it. But later on, he inexplicably started chatting with the other person, so the other person became his first netizen to travel to this world. So, we talked for almost 3 months. A while ago, the other party said they wanted to have a face-to-face relationship with him, and he also thought about it before agreeing. Being deceived. Jumped by a fairy. Sorry, he had 0.0001% divine and magical power back then, and now he has even reached 0.0002% divine and magical power. If the other party is really a fairy jumping, that's very embarrassing. I, Zhou Heng, acted on behalf of heaven and stripped you all and hung you on the tallest building in Eternal City. I also had someone live stream you in person. And this netizen named Sister's 1.8 meter long legs sent him a message. Sister's 1.8 meter long legs. Are you awake? Sister's 1.8 meter long legs. Why haven't you heard back? Sister has 1.8 meters long legs. You won't be afraid to expose your ugly and eccentric true face when we meet tomorrow, so let's carry the high-speed train and run overnight. I am your father. Ha! I'm your father. You should worry about yourself. When we meet, if you're a fat woman, I'll just shake my face and leave. Sister, I have 1.8 meters long legs. I have shown you photos of myself. Don't you believe me? I am your father. This kind of photo, when I searched online, it was just one. Sister's 1.8 meter long legs. Pooh. I wouldn't do this. It's you who has the possibility of doing this. I am your father. I won't say it anymore, I will know when we meet tomorrow. I am your father. Of course, if you are afraid of revealing your true appearance, you can cancel the face mask. I am still very kind and caring for ugly people, starting from me. Sister's 1.8 meter long legs. Wait for me, I'll show you my fair skin and beautiful long legs tomorrow, sister. Zhou Heng casually locked the screen. Not chatting with this silly netizen anymore, it's not very interesting. Online chatting, just chat casually, seriously. Then you really lost because there are too many scammers. Who knows if the online chat partner who sent you a beautiful photo can make Xiao Jianxia, who has been carrying a train and running away all night on the leaderboard, be even more ruthless. It's impossible to say that there might still be a messy and picky man on the other side. So, he only chats with the other party on the basis of being idle and idle. Otherwise, he would feel lonely chatting online when he's serious. Glancing at the sleeping dog, Zhou Heng thought for a moment and decided not to disturb the dog's sleep. He also needed to prepare how he should take magic potions for others in the future. Forced. He is not this kind of person. As long as they can gain strength, most people should not refuse to take potions. Zhou Heng pondered for a moment and thought inwardly. In this eerie world, ordinary people have almost no guarantee. Just like the parents of the original owner, a space crack that is enough to make a higher level eerie reality appears, and unfortunately, they sacrifice themselves. How sad it is. However, one thing Zhou Heng is also very clear about. The configuration of magic potions requires corresponding materials to be prepared, and it is obviously unrealistic to plan for everyone to swallow the potions. So, we can only start with elite personnel. Zhou Hengmo pondered silently. The material of the magic potion was eerie. Although eerie things often happen in this world, to truly prepare a large amount of magic potions, he had to cooperate with the official team to achieve it. Relying solely on him to obtain the materials required for various potions is definitely a very troublesome task, and even he can only mix 1 or 2 potions. It's not because he can't match it, it's just the current situation. The materials he has collected in the past 3 months can only allow him to prepare 1 or 2 magic potions. He silently planned to bring the magic potion to this world next. The morning sunshine also shone through the window and onto him. Coupled with his handsome and graceful face, in an instant, his handsomeness seemed to have been elevated. When put on the shelves, 10,000 flowers have a burst of 10,000 words, 20,000 flowers have a burst of 20,000 words, 30,000 flowers have a burst of 30,000 words, 40,000 flowers have a burst of 40,000 words, 50,000 flowers have a burst of 50,000 words, and the burst limit is 50,000 words. Pretty readers, please collect flowers, review tickets, tips. Follow up. All kinds of support. Please, pretty readers. You are the most beautiful. Update plan. Ensure daily updates of 10,000 words, and as for the exact amount, it depends on the author's code. Thank you for the reminder. Vote for 18814543795. It made the author feel that they are not playing a single-player game. Pretty guys, let's throw the flowers. Now there are more than 1,600 flowers, of which more than 1,500 are from the author myself. It's cracked. Everyone in the comments section can also speak up. If you have any opinions, let's say them, the author will accept them, otherwise it feels so lonely. Chapter 9. Are you only 1.4 meters old at the age of 19? 3 updates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 10. I refuse a 3-year start. Genetic agents. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Do you believe that I killed you? After listening, Su Xiaoxiao wished she could kick the other person to death with 1 foot. Is being short her fault? She doesn't want to be so short either. She also wants to be 1.8 meters tall with long legs. But if she can't stand it, she just can't grow tall. Especially when it comes to Zhou Heng's statement of adding salt, she really wants to use her body, which has been injected with an F.level gene drug, to kick the other person to death with just 1 kick. This netizen has a bird to use. A special meeting with a chicken feather is what pricks her heart. Calm down, calm down. He Xiangxue was persuading Su Xiaoxiao on the side, and within a few minutes, Su Xiaoxiao was also persuaded by He Xiangxue. The former also glanced at him, but she didn't expect that the other party was actually a straight man. Fortunately, she was here, otherwise something big would have happened today. However, what she didn't know was the man sitting opposite her was the hood they had been searching for in the supernatural realm. Not to mention that Su Xiaoxiao kicked Zhou Heng to death. As long as Su Xiaoxiao dared to take action, Zhou Heng dared to kill Su Xiaoxiao in a flash with a single move in person. It's more accurate to say that she saved Zhou Heng's life than to say that her actions saved Su Xiaoxiao's life. Oh, I never expected that the person I was chatting with online would be such a minor. If I had known, I would have deleted my friend directly, Zhou Heng sighed and said. I'm an adult, I'm 19 years old. Su Xiaoxiao's blood pressure skyrocketed with anger, she said angrily. I know, but I have no interest in a little brat like you. Zhou Heng waved his hand and said indifferently. This statement deeply stimulated Su Xiaoxiao again, it was so hateful. At least they can be considered as netizens who have been chatting for several months. When you met so unexpectedly, you broke my heart. Are you still human? By the way, I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is He Xiangxue, and this is Su Xiaoxiao. May I ask you? He Xiangxue smiled and said. Speaking with great magnanimity. Zhou Heng, Zhou Tian's Zhou, the balanced Heng. Zhou Heng walked slowly. Although he didn't say it, he could tell that the two women across from him were extraordinary. When he saw He Xiangxue from the second floor, he noticed it. The other party is not an ordinary person. Judging from the tone of speech and the extraordinary power it possesses, there is no eerie aura on its body, so it should not be an outsider. It seems that it is a gene warrior. 80% of them work at the Supernatural Bureau. Should I have contact or not? Zhou Heng thought to himself. Although the other person doesn't look particularly special, he can tell that their physique is much stronger than ordinary people. Su Xiaoxiao, who is 1.4 meters tall, has similar physical fitness to his dog. And the other one, He Xiangxue, is even more above Su Xiaoxiao. One has reached the F.level eerie physical fitness foundation, and the other has reached the E.level eerie physical fitness foundation. Zhou Heng analyzed the strength of the two's physical fitness at a glance. Although he knows very little, in this era, when looking up information online, it becomes a pile of information that can be easily found in minutes. Besides, the issue of genetic drugs existed 200 years ago, and 200 years later, F.grade genetic drugs began to be sold in large quantities. Unfortunately, the price is too high. Injecting an F.grade gene drug requires a whopping 1 million alliance coins. This is after the rise of the eerie era. Countries have all begun to form alliances. The currency was ultimately unified into a union currency, in order to add connections between countries. The benefits, anyway, Zhou Heng didn't go to understand. However, this 1 million alliance coins is not an easy sum of money to withdraw. Of course, most people would choose to purchase F.grade genetic drugs if they have the ability, because F.grade genetic drugs not only make people's physical fitness 3 times that of ordinary people, but also increase their lifespan to an average of 150 years. This is simply equivalent to finding a means of immortality. This is why various countries and groups are desperately developing genetic drugs. Besides that, there is also an E.level genetic drug that can double the physical fitness of those who have taken F.level genetic drugs, and their lifespan can reach an average of 200 years. It's just a pity. The cost of this E.level genetic drug is even more than 10 million union coins. Some people cannot afford to sell their houses. Above this, in the past 300 years, genetic drugs have been developed to the level of C.level genetic drugs, and according to the information disclosed by various groups, they are desperately researching B.level genetic drugs. The effect of D.level genetic drugs is to further improve physical fitness, increasing it to 10 times that of ordinary people, at a cost of 100 million alliance coins per bottle. Not many people can afford it, but wealthy people are willing to pay. After all, D.level genetic drugs have increased human lifespan to 300 years. It's just a billion yuan alliance coin. For wealthy people, a little pain, some even sprinkle water, but compared to their lives, it's not worth mentioning at all. Only by living can one have meaning. Dead, not spending all the money, that's so miserable. The effect of C.level gene drugs is to make people's physical fitness reach 20 times that of ordinary people, and their lifespan reaches an average of 500 years. The cost is naturally terrifying. A C.level gene drug requires a total of 1 billion alliance coins. But no matter what, for everyone, who doesn't crave a strong physique and who doesn't want to live a few more years, genetic drugs are there, waiting for these people to wave their money to buy. However, Zhou Heng was very surprised because he couldn't even imagine that he was just chatting online, and the result was that this netizen was still from the Supernatural Bureau. It's really a coincidence that his mother opened the door for Qiao and she arrived home. What do you do? How much do you currently earn? How many people are there in your family? During the conversation, He Xiangxue, who was sitting across from him, asked him like a blind date. This makes Zhou Heng feel like he's here to meet netizens, isn't it? Why, it feels like we're here for a blind date. Miss He, please don't bring your profession here, okay? I'm just here to meet netizens, not for blind dates. Besides, even if it's really a blind date, it shouldn't be you asking. Zhou Heng interrupted He Xiangxue, who was still about to ask, and said. Right, right. That's right, Sister Xue. You've asked so many questions, isn't it because you're interested in him? On the side, Su Xiaoxiao nodded in agreement and said. Pop. Who pulled me over here? He Xiangxue reached out and flicked his hand on Su Xiaoxiao's forehead, who immediately showed a painful expression on his face. But you see, Zhou Hengchang's performance is also good. I thought you were tempted. Su Xiaoxiao said wrongly. Dwarf, you're right. Although you're short, you're not blind. Zhou Heng gave Su Xiaoxiao a thumbs up and said. You guy, who are you talking about being short? Believe it or not, I'll bite you to death. After listening to this, Su Xiaoxiao looked at Zhou Heng with a gritted teeth. This guy was specifically here to stimulate her, speaking 3 sentences without leaving a single, short, character. Bite. Sorry, I refuse a 3-year start. Upon hearing this, Zhou Heng frowned and looked at Su Xiaoxiao with a disdainful expression, saying. When put on the shelves, 10,000 flowers have a burst of 10,000 words, 20,000 flowers have a burst of 20,000 words, 30,000 flowers have a burst of 30,000 words, 40,000 flowers have a burst of 40,000 words, 50,000 flowers have a burst of 50,000 words, and the burst limit is 50,000 words. Pretty readers, please collect flowers, review tickets, tips. Follow up. All kinds of support. Please, pretty readers. You are the most beautiful. Update plan. Ensure daily updates of 10,000 words, and as for the exact amount, it depends on the author's code.